The Second Coming of Jesus, a thrilling tale of hope and redemption. The world had grown darker than anyone could have imagined. The skies were perpetually gray, as if the heavens themselves mourned the state of humanity. Wars raged across continents. Natural disasters struck with unprecedented ferocity, and despair hung heavy in the hearts of people. It was a time when faith seemed obsolete, and hope was a rare commodity. Amidst the chaos, a small group of believers gathered in secret, their faith unwavering despite the turmoil. Among them was Anna, a young woman who had grown up hearing tales of the second coming of Jesus from her grandmother. Anna had always clung to those stories, but now, as the world spiraled further into darkness, she wondered if the promised return was merely a comforting myth. One evening, as the group met in a hidden basement to pray, the ground beneath them trembled violently. At first, they thought it was another earthquake, a frequent occurrence in their shattered world, but as they rushed outside, they saw something extraordinary. The sky, which had been a dull gray for years, was now ablaze with light. Brilliant streaks of gold and white cascaded across the heavens, illuminating the earth below. "Look," someone shouted, pointing upward. There, amidst the dazzling display, a figure descended. Clothed in radiance and surrounded by an otherworldly glow, he stood tall, his presence exuding both power and peace. It was Jesus. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The wars ceased, the storm stilled, and even the animals stopped to gaze at the spectacle. Anna fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. It was true. All the stories, all the prophecies, it was happening before her very eyes. Jesus spoke, his voice resonating like a symphony of hope. "I have returned as promised, to bring light to the darkness and to restore what has been broken. To those who have kept their faith, your prayers have been heard. To those who have lost their way, redemption is within your grasp." As his words spread across the globe, something miraculous began to unfold. Wounds healed, broken cities began to rebuild themselves, and rivers once poisoned ran clear. People of all faiths and backgrounds came together, united by the presence of the divine. Hatred and greed seemed to evaporate, replaced by a collective yearning for peace, but not everyone welcomed his return. Hidden in the shadows were those who had thrived in the chaos, their power built on the suffering of others. They saw Jesus not as a savior, but as a threat to their dominion. Led by a charismatic and ruthless figure known only as the Shadow King, they plotted to challenge him. One fateful night, the Shadow King and his followers launched their attack. They unleashed weapons crafted from the darkest technology, aiming to extinguish the light that Jesus had brought. The battle that ensued was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Jesus stood at the forefront, unshaken. With every strike from the enemy, he raised his hands, and waves of light emanated from him, neutralizing the attacks. But this was not a battle fought with weapons alone. It was a battle for souls. Anna, caught in the midst of the chaos, found herself face to face with the Shadow King. He offered her a choice: join him and secure her safety, or stand with Jesus and risk everything. With trembling hands, Anna clutched the small cross her grandmother had given her years ago. "I choose him," she said firmly, her voice steady despite her fear. At that moment, a beam of light shot down from the heavens, enveloping Anna and those who stood with her. The Shadow King and his followers recoiled, their power disintegrating in the face of the divine light. The battle ended as swiftly as it began. The Shadow King vanished and peace descended once more. Jesus turned to Anna and smiled. "Your faith has made a difference," he said, as the world began to heal. Anna realized that the second coming was not just an event, but a call to action. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, faith, courage, and love could triumph. The return of Jesus was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter for humanity.